Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. We are discussing 15 questions of General Aptitude for GATE 2026. We have already discussed a number of questions of probability, time, speed, distance, geometry, time and work in the last 3 videos which are released. If you have not watched it yet, please go through them and attempt those questions. As I said earlier, in this year's series of videos, I am discussing very basic and fundamental and easy level questions which all of you should be able to solve. In case you want to solve questions of a little higher level, then please watch the videos of last year and the year before that. Today's class, we are discussing some questions of algebra, functions and graphs. Let us start. The first question, if x is less than y is less than 0, which of the following must be true? Okay, so pause the video, give it a try and then you can cross check your solution with what we discuss here. So x is less than y is less than 0. So you can imagine this to be the number line where this is 0. So I have both x and y less than 0 and x is less than y, right? So this is how the numbers are going to appear in the number line. Okay, so which of the following must be true? The first one is mod of x greater than mod of y. So note that x and y are both less than 0, so they are both negative values. So if I consider, suppose x to be, let's say, minus 5 and y to be minus 2, so mod of x is going to be a 5, which is definitely greater than mod of y, right? So for any value, this is going to hold true because x negative is lesser than y negative. So when I take the mod, it invariably becomes greater. So 1 has to be true. What about the next one? X by y is greater than 1. Is x by y greater than 1? So again, if I take x to be minus 5 and y to be minus 2, when I am taking x by y, remember that the minus signs get cancelled, right? So I am going to be left with a fraction which is always going to be greater than 1. So you can take any value of x and y and see if this holds true. So suppose I am taking this as minus 11 and I take y to be minus 5, right? So this is going to be 11 by 5, which is going to be greater than 1. So x by y greater than 1 always holds true. The next, x raised to the power y. Okay, x raised to the power y, is this less than 0 or is this negative? Okay, so let's say if I take x to be, let's say, minus 5 and y to be minus 2. So I have minus 5 raised to the power minus 2, or it is going to be minus 1 by 5 raised to the power 2, and that becomes 1 by 25, right? Is this less than 0? No, this is not true, right? However, if I take x as minus 5 and I take y as minus 3, suppose, okay, because I can see that it is because of this power that this minus has become a plus, right? So if this power is even, this minus is going to become a plus. What happens if the power is odd? In that case, it will remain minus. So I will get minus 1 by 5 cube, and that is minus 1 by 125, which is going to be less than 0. So this is not true in all situations. It is true in some situations, but it is not true in all situations. And the question asks us which of the following must be true. So only 1 and 2, not 3. So the required answer is option D. Okay, clear? So obviously 1 and 2 is very easy to understand if you just look at the values on the number line. For the third one, just take up some values and find out whether it is holding true in all situations or not. Let us look at the next question. If f of x is mod of x minus 1 and gx is mod of x plus 2, then how many possible values of x are there such that f of g of x is equal to 0? Okay, simple question. We have been given f of x as mod of x minus 1 and g of x as mod of x plus 2, and we want to find out for what values of x does f of g of x is equal to 0 hold true. Okay, so let us first express this f of g of x. What will this f of g of x be? F of g of x is going to be mod x plus 2 minus 1. Right, so this mod x plus 2 is going to come in place of this x. Mod x plus 2 is going to come in place of this x, and this we know is equal to 0. This we know is equal to 0. Okay. So if this is going to be mod is going to be equal to 0, I can take it as minus 1 is equal to 0, or I can take mod of x plus 2 is equal to 1. So from here we'll get two separate values. I can have x plus 2 is equal to 1, which in turn gives me 1 minus 2 minus 1, or I can have x plus 2 is equal to minus 1, which in turn gives me x is equal to minus 1 minus 2, which is minus 3. So how many values am I having of x? I'm having two values of x. Okay. So 2 is the required answer. Clear? The last question for today's class. A and B are two alloys of gold and copper prepared by mixing the respective metals in the proportions of 7:2 and 7:11 respectively. If the alloys are melted and mixed to form a third alloy C, which has an equal proportion of gold and copper, what is the ratio of alloys A and B in the mixture? So very simple question of mixtures if you are able to understand the data that has been given. So A is an alloy of gold and copper, right? So A is one alloy of gold and copper. I am talking about gold is to copper in A, right? What is the ratio which has been given? A and B are alloys of A and of gold and copper prepared by mixing the respective metals in the proportion of 7:2, and for B it is 7:11. Now these two are melted and mixed to form a alloy C, which has an equal proportion of gold and copper. So alloy C has an equal proportion of gold and copper. So 1:1 is the ratio. So what is the ratio in which A and B have been melted? So you can work with either the proportions of gold or you can work with the proportions of copper. It is going to give us the same answer. I'm going to work with the proportions of gold. Alright. So in alloy A, the proportion of gold is 7/9. Right. The proportion means we are going to take it with respect to the total. The denominator will be total. So 7 plus 2, 9. Similarly, as far as alloy B is concerned, 7:11, so the proportion of gold is 7/18. And in the final mixture C, the proportion is 1/2. So you can see that the denominators are different, 9, 18 and 2. So I'm going to make it all same. I'm going to make it all 18. So this will be 9/18 and this will be 14/18. So that just makes the calculations easier for me. So that's it. So this is 14/18 minus 9/18. So 5/18. And here I will be having 2/18. So the ratio is nothing but 2:5. The ratio is 2:5. Option number A. This is the practice question for you. A farmer has a large pot holding 60 liters of a mixture of milk and water. Initially, the ratio of milk to water is 2:1. He adds some water to the mixture and changes the ratio to 1:2. So, how much water does the farmer add? And the options are 40 liters, 30 liters, 20 liters and 60 liters. So fairly easy question, give it a try, and whatever answer you get, write them down in the comment section below. The correct answer will be in the first pinned comment after 24 hours. If you have any doubts or any feedback for the questions that we discussed, feel free to write in the comment section below and I will definitely get back to you. We have one more video lecture remaining in this series wherein we will be discussing questions of logical reasoning. So look out for that. Thank you so much for watching. All the best.